Exactly a week after Election Day, we want to update some key races and go through some takeaways now. First, at the top of the ticket, former President Donald Trump, as you know, easily won the Electoral College vote, 312 to 226 for Vice President Kamala Harris. The popular vote is now 50% for Mr. Trump, 48% for Ms. Harris. Millions of votes, by the way, still to count there. As for the legislative branch of our federal government, Republicans gained 4 seats to take control of the U.S. Senate. Meanwhile, the lower chamber, the U.S. House of Representatives, is still up for grabs. Look at that. Right now, Republicans lead by 9 seats, but 16 are still too close to call. And then you have local races. Jeff Kelly is a reporter with Investigative Post, where he's been doing some digging into these big takeaways from the election, especially locally and across New York State. Thanks for coming in, and I want to start with Cheektowaga. We talked about this a little bit last week. It's always sort of our little bellwether town here in western New York, and you found some sort of interesting tidbits in the results out of Cheektowaga specifically.
Sure, as Bob McCarthy of the Buffalo News, late of the Buffalo News now of Channel 7 likes to say, as goes Cheektowaga, so goes the nation. Not quite, about half true this year. Kamala Harris won Cheektowaga by about 4 percentage points. But in local races, Republicans picked up 2 notable and rare wins. One, a town board seat, which is arguably the most impactful, but also a state assembly seat, which the Republican candidate, Pat Cheldzinsky, he beat a 4-term Democratic incumbent, and that's rare on its own, beating an incumbent. About 95% of the time they hold their seats. But in Cheektowaga, which was long considered sort of a Democratic stronghold, it's a rare feat indeed. Yeah.
I know you also noticed a little bit of irony in the results. Public campaign financing actually helping Republicans in some areas at least stay more competitive. When you think of public financing, you don't think that of something the GOP really embracing. So some of the irony.
No, but in the end, at least around here, they certainly did, because it did what it's supposed to do, which is even the playing field between incumbents, which in Western New York, a lot of those are Democrats, and Republicans who maybe don't have the same advantage in terms of fundraising that an incumbent does. In Cheektowaga, Pat Cheldzinsky got pretty much the max allowable, about $175,000 in public matching funds, and that helped him to get out his message.
Absolutely. And then there is this growth of non-affiliated voters, right? And this is something, as you were looking through the data, it's not just particular to one town or municipality or to Erie County, but in a lot of places and across the state.
It's not even unique. Yeah, it's throughout the state. And maybe it's a little wonky, but it's interesting to me, which is that in recent years, the number of unaffiliated voters, people who are registered to vote but who don't join any political party, has risen. In Cheektowaga, they used to be, 4 years ago, they were about 1/5 of the electorate. Now they're 1/4. And that growth is mirrored across Erie County and across the state. Meanwhile, Democrats have lost some registration advantage. They still have a substantial advantage, both countywide and statewide. And Republicans have ticked up a little bit, but the biggest growth is in that unaffiliated voters, the so-called blanks.
And those are the voters oftentimes who end up being the undecideds, who decide at least races that are expected to be close.
So we think, We don't really know, right? But that's what we believe.
All right, go to investigativepost.org and read more of Jeff's reporting. You have your newsletter, political newsletter, out tomorrow as well.
That's right, tomorrow morning.
All right, good stuff, Jeff. Thanks so much. Good to see you.
My pleasure. Thank you.